why your feet start to feel numb, with tingling, burning, or that strange sensation like you're stepping on sharp or uneven surfaces. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Around 1 in 4 people over the age of 70 experiences this. And here's something important most people misunderstand. They immediately look for a pill. But research from the University of Utah shows something different. Specific exercises can actually support the regrowth of nerve fibers. Scientists observed this directly under a microscope using skin samples. Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 simple exercises you can do at home that are designed to support this process. You don't need any equipment or a gym, just a chair and about 15 minutes a day. Let's start with what's really happening in your body. Your peripheral nerves act like cables running from your spinal cord down into your feet and toes. They carry important signals: pain, temperature, and your sense of position in space. When these cables become damaged, the signals don't travel clearly anymore. Instead of clean information, your brain receives mixed or distorted signals. That's what leads to sensations like burning, tingling, or numbness. The most common cause is diabetes, responsible for about 40% of cases. Elevated blood sugar affects nerve proteins through a process called glycation, which interferes with normal function. But diabetes isn't the only factor. Alcohol can negatively affect nerve health and interfere with vitamin B1 absorption. Low levels of vitamin B12, especially in people taking metformin or omeprazole, can also play a role. Other contributing factors include chemotherapy, autoimmune conditions, excess body weight, and in about 30% of cases, no clear cause is identified. Now, when it comes to supplements, I'll keep this brief. One of the most studied options is alpha-lipoic acid, typically around 600 milligrams per day. Clinical trials such as the Sydney and Nathan studies showed noticeable reductions in discomfort and tingling sensations. Vitamin B12 is also important, especially if you're in a risk group. Checking your levels can be helpful. There's also something many people don't expect. High doses of vitamin B6, above 50 milligrams per day, can actually contribute to nerve-related symptoms. So it's worth reviewing what you're taking. Now let's talk about what really matters here: movement. In 2015, researchers conducted a study where they took skin samples from people before and after a structured exercise program. What they found was very clear. New nerve endings began to appear. Not just a subjective improvement, but visible structural changes. The exercises I'm about to show you are based on 3 key areas: cardio, balance, and foot activation. All of them can be done at home using a chair. Cardio is the foundation. It plays a key role in supporting circulation and was strongly linked to nerve changes in research. The general goal is around 150 minutes per week: walking, cycling, or swimming. But consistency matters more than the type. Choose something that feels safe and comfortable. Here's one simple option you can do at home. Sit on a stable chair. Keep your back straight without leaning fully into the backrest. Begin lifting your knees one at a time, as if you're marching. Add arm movement. Opposite arm forward with each lift. Keep a pace where your breathing increases slightly, but you can still talk. Start with 3 minutes and gradually increase. The goal is 10-15 minutes per session, twice a day. Cardio helps start the process, but there's another important issue. When nerves are affected, your sense of where your feet are becomes less precise. This increases the risk of losing balance. Let's move to the next 2 exercises that focus on stability. Stand behind a chair and hold onto it with both hands. Shift your weight onto one foot and slightly lift the other, just a small distance off the floor. Hold this position. Aim for 30 seconds on each side, but start with what feels manageable. Even a few seconds is fine. Do 3 rounds per side. As this becomes easier, you can reduce support. First one hand, then none. Later, you can try closing your eyes. This encourages your body to rely more on internal signals rather than vision, helping strengthen those pathways over time. Next, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, holding onto a chair if needed. Slowly shift your weight back onto your heels so your toes lift slightly. Pause briefly. Then roll forward onto your toes, lifting your heels. Pause again, then return. Perform 15 repetitions for 2 sets, keeping the movement slow and controlled. This helps with balance, supports lower leg strength, and stimulates sensory input from the feet. These 2 exercises take only a few minutes but can be very effective when done regularly. Now let's move to exercises that activate the muscles and nerve endings in your feet. Stand while holding the back of a chair. Slowly rise onto your toes, pause briefly, then lower back down with control. Aim for 12 repetitions and 2 sets, with short rest in between. This movement helps support circulation and provides feedback signals from your feet to your nervous system. Over time, you can progress to doing it on one leg if comfortable. Next, sit down and place a towel flat on the floor. Put your bare foot on it. Using your toes, try to gather the towel toward you, spreading, gripping, and pulling. Do 10 repetitions per foot for 2 sets. At first, this may feel unusual or difficult, and that's completely normal. It simply means those pathways are being activated again. You can make it more challenging by picking up small objects like coins or marbles with your toes. Finally, sit and lift one foot slightly off the ground. Slowly rotate your ankle in a circle, 10 times in each direction. Then, using your big toe, trace the letters of the alphabet in the air. Each movement engages the muscles from different angles. Now let's put everything together into a simple daily routine. Start with a warm-up, seated marching for 5 to 10 minutes. Then move to balance work. Single leg stands and heel-to-toe movements for a few minutes. Finish with foot exercises, calf raises, towel work, and ankle movements. Altogether, this takes about 15 minutes. If possible, add a relaxed walk outside for 20 to 30 minutes when conditions feel safe. There are 3 important principles to keep in mind. First, begin gradually. If a recommendation says 12 repetitions, you can start with fewer. Your body responds better to steady progression. Second, consistency matters more than intensity. Daily practice creates better results than occasional longer sessions. Third, pay attention to your feet after each session. Look for any irritation or changes, especially if sensation is reduced. Research shows that nerve tissue can respond to the right kind of stimulus. This is not about quick fixes, but about steady, supportive habits. Along with exercise, consider checking your vitamin B12 levels and managing blood sugar if needed. Nutrition also plays a role. Foods like fish and leafy greens can support overall health. This is something you can work on step by step. And now you have a clear plan to begin.